Books we read. Books we read.
La 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 la.
Hey guys, welcome to Between the Pages. Today we're joined by Anshi. She doesn't read much, but when she does, she loves classics. Today she's here with an exciting book called Shah and the End of Time. It's a really fun story, kind of like the Indian version of Percy Jackson. And today's episode went really well, with lots of funny moments. To know more, stay tuned. If you like today's discussion, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to come on our show as a guest, fill out the form. The link is in the description below. Hello Anshi, welcome to Between the Pages.
Hello Anna,
How are you?
I'm great. You?
I'm fine. Can you please tell us about yourself?
My name is Anshi Singh. I'm going to go in 7th grade. I like to do Kathak and I like to do drawing. I spent most of my days drawing and doing dance.
Alright. So how has life been lately?
Simple. I have my holidays going on. I do almost nothing during the days. I just sleep, eat, and draw.
Sounds great. And is reading a part of your routine?
Yes, I reread many books that I've bought. I don't like to buy books and like read them once or twice. I like to read them multiple times to get out like every inch of the story.
That's super interesting. So, can you tell us what book you're here with today?
I have Arusha and the End of Time. It is more like about a book. There's like a salty 12-year-old girl named Arusha. She lives in a museum. Meaning she lives near a museum which is owned by her parents, by her mom, and there is a lamp in the museum which is very sacred, and she lights up that lamp in like pressure of her friends. Her friends were taunting her like, you have nothing to do, you're so boring. So she lights up the lamp, which then like releases a like a mysterious figure named the Sleeper, nicknamed the Sleeper. He is a like a very confusing character, and it is a very cool book to read. It's a very thrilling book to read.
So, what did the sleeper want to do?
The Sleeper wanted to like get revenge for some things which is not said in this book. It may be said in the next sequel, which I'm not sure of. He wants to take over the world like every other villain, and wants to like take revenge for some actions done, which is like the plot of the book, which
I
is
see.
yet to come.
I see. And were there any relatable characters in the book?
This book is basically for the newest generation. It has Arusha. She has like almost every character in the world. Every person in the world has some like bad things in them. Every person is born with good or bad, and Arusha's like negative trait is that she lies to like fit in with people. And the other, like her sister, Aru's like spiritual sister, her name is Minnie. She is a very hygienic freak, which sometimes like does not get the best of her. It sometimes puts her in very awkward situations. So they're very relatable
I see.
for the average 11-year-old.
And do you have any favorite characters from the book?
My favorite character is Arusha, again, because she's a lot like me. She loves to talk, and she's very salty and I guess savage, very sarcastic, and I think that really represents me.
I see. So, this book represents a lot of elements from Hindu mythology.
Yes.
So, did you learn anything new from this?
I learned many new things from this. Like, there's a back of this book which has like an entire vocabulary page of random Indian mythical characters, which I don't think most of India knows. Example, like Shivji, and like Shivji is like many traits which I did not know, and like the ocean of milk, which is a pretty huge part in this book. It is like a very mythical ocean from which many cool things came out. So there's many things you can learn from this book.
Okay. And there are a lot of gods and goddesses also. Sorry, I'll just say this again. There are a lot of gods and goddesses in the book. Were there any ones that interested you?
Urvashi, she's the nymph queen. She's extremely good at dancing, and I keep her as like my like role model because she's amazing at dancing. And I guess she looks very ethereal too. Like she's very pretty, I guess, as it's described in the book. She's like my role model in dancing. So yeah.
Okay, and coming back to the main characters, Arusha and Minnie. Her, what was the phrase that you used for her sister?
Spiritual sister.
Yeah. Arusha and her spiritual sister Minnie. What do you think about their friendship?
Their friendship is like what you will see in most like families, Indian families around the world. Like they have very bittersweet relationship. They really care for each other, and like they are put in like, because they're put in such challenging situations together, they learn more about each other nicely. So yeah,
Yeah, so
it's a very sacred relationship, I guess.
can you share a moment of like you just realize that they have evolved throughout the book, and what lessons might they have learned from each other?
What was the first question again?
How they have evolved throughout the book.
I feel like in the starting of the book, like when they first meet, they seem like two awkward teenagers who are trying to like mingle with each other, and by the end of the book, they seem like bonded sisters who are fixed together for life. And there are many challenges they go through together, in which they really shape their personalities, their relationship as a sister relationship.
And you think they learned any lessons from each other?
Yes, because Arusha, even though she seems very confident, very sarcastic, she's actually pretty timid in the inside. So she learns how to be confident and like outgoing, like Minnie. And Minnie learns how not to be that nervous from Aru. Like Minnie learns how to be a little more loose, little more like happyish, not that paranoid about diseases from Aru.
That sounds interesting. I believe this book also incorporates elements of humor.
So much. There's so many humor. Like if you have read Percy Jackson, this is like an Indian version of that. There's so many references in this that most Gen Z kids will understand and will love. It seems like it's written from like an 11-year-old's perspective only. So it feels very nice to read.
Oh, beautiful. So can you share a funny moment in the book?
A funny moment. So like they have like a sidekick who's also a pigeon, by the way. The pigeon's name is Boo. So there are many instances, but I'll pinpoint one. It is once when Arusha meets Minnie, her spiritual sister, and Boo just gets very confused. Like why me, the most wow type guardian of the universe, has to suffer with two dumb teenage girls. One is obsessed about dance and Bollywood songs, and the other is paranoid about touching someone. Like Minnie, Minnie is very paranoid. She's extremely paranoid. She's so awkward. I love her.
Okay. So Aru and Minnie face a lot of challenges throughout the book, as you've
Yes.
already mentioned. What do you think was the hardest challenge for them?
I think the hardest challenge, it was more from Minnie. Like Arusha, she finds out in some very confusing way that actually the sleeper is Aru's father, and Minnie has to.
You just ruined the plot.
Yes, Minnie has to console Aru in like, yeah, it's okay, you're not crazy like your dad, in that type of way, like the crazy maniac guy. You're not like that, and like Aru feels very shocked, right? So like Minnie has to handle Aru. And the second time is when Aru lost a very big battle, and Minnie, just one of the biggest challenges they face is like losing a very hard, very important battle together. So they had to sit in silence and figure out what they are supposed to do next. And I feel like that's a very hard challenge to do. to like sit in silence and like figure out what to do next. It's a very hard thing to do.
You know, when you mentioned that Aru's dad is the
Sleeper.
Yeah, my heart stopped for a tiny bit of second, and I was like, "What?"
It is very confusing. Like
You
if you the third book is even more confusing because you have to. It's like a detective story that you have to figure out. Okay, this is that, so that is this. It's a very
My heart literally
beautiful story.
stopped, and I was like, because I'm very scared of anything, like, you know, and you just kind of like, oh shit. That's what my reaction was inside. So the sleeper, the main antagonist of the story, what makes a good villain?
A good villain is one who knows they're going to win from the start, who just know that I'm just playing for fun. Like I know I'm already gonna win. I'm just playing. I'm just like playing with you.
And
Like
how does a sleeper fit in that category?
Sleeper fits in that category because in the last battle, the one that Aru lost, by the way, Sleeper like somewhat gaslights Aru into thinking you already know you're my daughter, so you're like me.
Oh shit.
You are like me. Come join me. So like having a very persuasive character is a very
Good villain.
good villain.
You know, every time we have the podcast shoots, I'm like, I want to read this book every time, but this shoot is like, I am confused whether I should ask you if I can read the book, or I'm like, no, this is too creepy and I probably won't be able
It's
to
not that
sleep.
creepy. I'm just saying it like that. It's not that.
Yes, I'm just kind of like thinking whether I should read it or not now.
Read it.
Okay. So there are a lot of magical powers that the characters discover they have. Which one was your favorite magical power?
Minis, she is the descendant of god of death, Yam, Dev. And it'll be so funny if I just go into a party and say that yes, I'm the goddess of death. I will most probably be guaranteed the first piece of cake. I'm pretty sure of that. It'll be really fun to go into a party, just be like, I'm the goddess of death. Fear me.
All right. And if you could be friends with any of the characters from the book, who would it be?
Most probably Aru because she's basically like me. It'll be really fun to like hang out with her and like because I know how the book ends. I kind of just want to console her and like be like everything's going to be okay. You're not going to die. You're not tyrannical. Finally, don't die like that.
All right. And the concept of fate and destiny is mentioned in the book. Do you believe in fate, or do you believe that everyone can shape their own destiny?
I believe in the mix because of course everyone can shape their own destiny. You have seen so many like poor to rich um, changes in the world. So there's always going to be an element of luck in any ventures you're doing, but most probably you can shape your own future, but there's always an element of luck in that and
I
fate.
see. Sounds great.
And you always have a fate.
And what lessons do you think readers could get from reading this book?
Don't lie because that'll make you end up in very pathetic situations. Don't go crazy if you find out something very weird. Like example, you find out something
Your
very
dad is
weird.
the sleeper.
Yeah, like that. So don't go paranoid about it. And three, it is okay to loosen up. You don't always have to act like the big strong persona. It's okay to sometimes cry.
All right.
Let out your feelings.
What age group would you recommend this book to?
Probably like any age group if they have the understanding of how this like normal books like these work, that anyone can read it, but most probably like people between the age of like 10 and 13, they will enjoy it the most.
I see. So we're almost to the end of this podcast. We have a ritual in this podcast where every guest writes a question for the next guest. So I have a question for you. It is from Arav, and he's asking, which part of the story were you most tensed and felt that you couldn't stop reading?
When the battle between the final battle between the sleeper and Aru and Mine and Boo also, it was a very tense battle. It kept you like reading on. Even if you did not understand the previous sentence, you would just keep on reading to get the gist of it.
I
So the
see.
final battle, most probably.
All right, so it's your turn to write a question for the next guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me come on this podcast.
I had a great time talking books with you, and well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you guys liked today's discussion. Until next time, it's me and Alani closing the BTP book for this week.
la 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 la